Yes, the first one on there was not part of the motion to be brought forward, so I would just ask that that one was struck. I think it was put in the book by accident. Is that right, Mr. Baker?
That's what I understand.
Okay. And then those in blue, which would be the second, the Junior Miss Cherokee contest, and the fourth one, which is Sequoia High School Art Award Program. Then third from the bottom, which is still in blue, which is the Elm Tree Baptist Church. And on the next page, Reaching Our Hobart Community Roth. Then the Shiloh Christian School. I would ask that we can put that in the form of a motion, that we pass those on into the budget mod, and that the money source, the equitable funding that Mr. Baker and myself have for such items. Those were turned down mostly because they said that they could go to CAUTA. I understand from CAUTA that all their money has been given out, so there's no funding in CAUTA for those items. A few of those, they said, could go to the school money that's going to be given out in the motor fuels tax. The problem with that is the schools are so underfunded now, they're needing every nickel just to keep the doors open. So we, and I hope I'm joined by Mr. Baker, would ask your consideration in passing that on into the budget mod, those that I've just mentioned, and then I want to take up the multi-district ones separately.
Okay, so that's a motion. Motion second. Is there further discussion on our motion? So, all those, there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Aye.
Get a roll call.
So, point of clarification, a yes vote would put those in the budget mod,
Yes.
using a portion of our equitable funding from donations, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear that.
Don Garvin,
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Hannah Gloria Jordan,
Yes.
Chris Soap,
No.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Kara Cowan Watts, Jill Angwin,
No.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
No.
Harley Buzzard,
No.
Julia Coates, no. Roger Cobb,
No.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Jody Fisherhawk,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley, yes. Janelle Fulbright.
Yes.
Nine yes and 7 no.
Okay. Motion passed. Okay. Yes, Councilor Jordan.
The third one on that list is the Cherokee National Day of Prayer, and it's considered a multi-district donation for $300. It was turned down because there was an offer-in-kind donation use of Cherokee Nation facilities to host the events, but what the $300 was going for was the other needs that go with putting on such a day of you've got your advertising, you've got your the food that will need to be prepared, and I would make it in form of motion, but I would defer a little bit of my time to Mr. Baker on that particular request.
You ready for the motion?
I'll second.
Second, okay.
And to carry on with what she's saying, this National Day of Prayer, it's National Cherokee Day of Prayer. And they've had it in Cherokee County, they've had it in Delaware County. It's a lot of the preachers get together and they end up having this. It's been at Sequoia High School, it's been at Oaks, it's been I don't know if this is the, what year this is, but folks, if we ever need prayer in the Cherokee Nation, it's now. And you know, that we don't do anything for them except give them a little bit of funding to organizational support to put this thing off every year. And I just think, you know, there again, we'd be short-sighted if we didn't go ahead and do it again. And you all have done it before. I mean, it's not just been Tanya and I, it's been Curtis, and I think Harley, and several others of you have chipped into this before. How far down did you go, Tommy?
This was only the one item.
Okay.
We were doing the multi-district individually. I'm sorry, you caught me with my mouth.
Okay.
Councilor Thorne. I waited for you to go by.
Yes, I'm going to support this. We've got a few people that come to this, and we've got a preacher too that comes to this every year, and I've supported it before.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, yes.
Okay. The next one will be on the second page. It's a request from your Cherokee Nation Tribal Youth Council, which would be considered a multi-district for their program needs. I realize they already have a budget. They have come to us on a yearly basis because of travel expenses and things that they're involved in, and I can think of no better organization to represent Cherokee Nation than our youth council, and I would hope that you all would be able to support this, and I'll put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So the motion carried. Yes, Councilor Jordan.
The next one is the Indian Women's Pocahontas Club. It's also a multi-district request. Theirs is for organizational support. We have supported them in the past. They have members in multi-districts. Their needs are for the travels that they do and the annual get-togethers that they have. And I would put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Councilor Calhoun Watts.
I am a member of that organization, and to date, they've had no accountability for some of the funds. So I would highly suggest that we table this, because they've also had ongoing issues with their cultural identities and such, and whether it's appropriate on some of the things that they've done. But I would suggest to you that the majority of the women in that group are financially sound and have the capacity to pay for their own vacations and trips.
Move
And
the
it should-
table.
Second.
Okay. Motion made to table. All those in favor say aye.
Point of order, is this table till next month, Mr. Chairman?
No, there was no date on the table, right?
Mr. Chairman, I interpreted her to be tabled next month. She clearly raised some issues. Maybe we could spend the next month vetting them. If nothing turns up, then we would have an opportunity to review it again.
Clarification,
I didn't make the motion.
oh, excuse me,
I would agree with Councilor Hoskins' interpretation of that.
that is tabled until next month?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor of tabling until next month, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 2 opposed. Okay, motion carried. Councilor Fraley.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, for going back on that. I realize you voted on it. But do they get funding from any other tribal entities? For instance, if we gave them $1,500, could they agree to match that with Choctaw, Chickasaw, or whatever they are?
I think it's a Cherokee organization. I don't think it's.
Yes, Cherokee?
Yeah. It's just Cherokee.
They've recently changed their bylaws, so I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, next, but we only have 20 minutes.
You want me to take the next one, too?
Yes.
Okay, the next one is the Indian Nations Council. It's also a multi-district request. It's basically the Boy Scouts of America there in Tulsa. It's for their organizational support. I'm going to put that in the form of a motion and then pass it to Mr. Baker.
I'm going to second it, but this, if I can make it friendly, that it is organizational support, but they're about to lose Camp Fred Darby. And the kids from Muskogee and Wagner and Pryor and Tahlequah and Stillwell have gone to that camp for years and years. The Boy Scouts were going to sell it, but they found out that it went back to the family if they did. And so they told the folks in the Cherokee district that if they'll raise the $10,000 and put running water and meet the safety standards, that they'll keep this camp alive. And we literally have hundreds of kids that go to that camp and do weekend camps and those kinds of things. And they've raised the majority of the money, but with $5,000 more, they can get over the top so that this camp will stay alive. And I don't know if any of you were Boy Scouts and went to that camp over the years, but it really is a need to keep this thing going.
Well, you're for the amendment? You said you were.
Yeah, that it be for that Camp Fred Darby sanitation and water and sanitation stuff.
It's still the 5,000?
Yeah, still the 5,000, yes.
Pardon? Did you have
Yes.
comments on this? Okay.
Bill John, you're asking for 5,000 to come out of all of them? All of that?
Do what?
You're asking for the whole 5,000?
No, the 5,000 is what they're short. Their project was over 10,000. It was probably 15, and they've gotten a lot of stuff donated. A lot of Cherokee vendors have donated septic tanks and donated this and donated.
So they need 5,000?
They need 5,000 for the rest of the materials so that they can finish the project.
I'd really like to help you out, Bill John, but me and Joe's running short. I'm gonna have to be against it.
Thank you. Councilor Ellen Watts.
And I just want to make sure so that on that friendly amendment, it is 5,000 to that project only if it saves it, not 5,000 if it's going to revert back to the family.
Right, and it won't with this.
Okay. Councilor Cobb.
I'd like to, if I may, ask, I don't know if anybody's here from the Leadership Services, but if Secretary of State or somebody wants to, it says basically in this other column, Leadership Services is currently working with this organization. Can somebody give me an update on, we're working with the organization, what's happening?
I think that was, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think that was probably a general statement as to Boy Scouts, that they generally work with that organization in terms of leadership programs and such,
Okay.
but not necessarily on that facility. I don't think there's been any contact to us about that particular facility.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Roll call.
Russo,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
David Thornton, Kara Callan Watts,
No?
Bill Angler,
No.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
No.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Julia Coates,
No.
Bradley Cobb,
No.
Joe Crittenden,
Pass.
Jody Fishinghawk,
Pass.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
No.
Don Garvin,
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Connor Glory Jordan,
Yes.
David is still out, Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk,
Yeah.
9 yes and 7 no.
Okay, motion passed. Okay. Are there other items?
Yes. Joe and I.
Ms. Fishingham?
Okay. The only ones that Joe and I are looking at right now are on the last page. It's the first one, 500 design school. And the next two. Well, no, the Cherokee Children's Mission, we would like to drop down from 10,000 to 2,000. It's the one not in blue. The first one on the page not in blue, because it was recommended for 10 out of this fund, but since we're dividing it evenly, the 10,000 would be over the amount, so we're dropping it down to 2. We make the recommendations for that one for 2. The one above it stays the same. We're recommending that at 500. The two down below at 45 and 75. We're making recommendations on them too. And we're splitting it between us.
And the last one on the page?
No.
Okay. Okay. So your motion's for those. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Roll call. I heard some weak yeses and noes.
Carrie Callan Watts,
No.
Bill England,
No.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
No.
Harley Buzzard,
No.
Julia Coates,
No.
Bradley Cobb,
No.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Jody Fishingham,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley, Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
China Glory Jordan,
Yes.
Chris Soap, Curtis Snell,
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
Nine yes and 7 no.
Okay. Motion passed. Yes, Councilor Buzzard.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to refer people to the Elks Mission that's on page 4. The original request, I believe, is for 10,000. However, I would go ahead and make a recommendation for 5,000 on that, and I'll tell you why. I think everybody's under the perception that this is really a mission church, or a mission that is served by the Lutheran organization, and from what I've understood about this lately, it's not completely a Lutheran organization. They support the church wholeheartedly, but it's not run by the Lutheran church, although the board members are Lutheran. Let me just tell you a little bit about it. They're currently serving 21 Native American children at this mission. 13 of those children are Cherokee. 5 of the house parents are Cherokee. So in a sense, they're serving 18 Cherokee children because the house parents' children have to be counted as part of the children's group. The staff is 13 full-time employees. 8 of those staff are Cherokees. And you know, I just think the organization is Native American people that stay at this organization, but then we have over half of them there are Cherokees. So I just feel like with Oaks Mission, I think it does a lot. I think it's a historical place for Delaware County, a historical place for Cherokee Nation. And I would make a motion that we pass a $5,000 donation for this mission up there.
Okay.
How it is.
Out of Delaware County's portion, or?
Out of the total contribution. Because it not only serves Delaware County, but it serves kids from all over.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilor Collins?
And I actually probably was going to ask the Secretary of State this. It says pending, so what I want to know is if we pass this and it's pending, are they going to also get the pending? So I'm just trying to figure out.
So this was recommended the last time.
So I'm just making sure what the,
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to clarify, this was recommended by the principal chief to your subcommittee. And I assume that I believe the recommended ones were approved by the subcommittee for 10. So is this motion to reduce what's already been approved then to 5,000? That would be my question to you.
Yes, that would be the motion, to reduce that by 5,000.
Okay.
Okay. Councilor Watts.
I checked with our attorney. I have been asked by Oaks Mission to be the keynote at Saturday's banquet, and it has been suggested that I must abstain for that reason, just to be clear for the record, so.
Okay. Okay, motion is that we reduce the 10,000 recommended to 5,000. Oaks Mission. Yes, Councilor Jordan.
Just a point of clarification, this is a multi-district one, so it will reduce everybody's equitable portion by equal amount, is that what we're saying?
Yes. It was initially recommended for 10, so it's reducing it. Councilor Fishing.
I think me and Bill has to, I was just because I think about the day about took it. If you're doing it next month, we might add some to it, but I think we're about after now.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, we're going to divide. Gonna put more money back in it, but
And just a point of clarification, Harley, what did you say it was for now?
It was for organization support for the mission itself.
Yes.
Clarification on his motion is they're going to get 10 if we don't approve his motion. And his motion is to actually reduce it down to 5. So it actually puts less going out.
Tell me roughly so I'll know
How much money is
So it actually gives an additional 5,000, at least 5,000 more in the pot. Yes, Councilor Jordan.
it? I think what she wants to know is how much will that lower her equitable division?
Actually, it will increase, give her more.
Well, but she wants to know how much more. And I don't have a calculator. I can't.
Yeah.
You would,
Yeah, all right.
5,000 divided by 15.
300 some dollars. $333.
See, yeah.
Okay. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
One abstention.
One abstention. Okay. Are there any other items? Number 3. Okay. Now we go to item 4, which is our budget mod. Doug.
I have a few comments on the budget mod this month, Mr. Chairman. Mod
Excuse me.
4.
Okay. Councilor Jordan?
Now, all those we just voted on will go into the budget mod, right?
Yes.
That's our,
That was the motion,
okay.
the motions.
I just didn't know what that meant, you had to fix
I
the
mean, a
numbers.
list of them will go in, their funds are already appropriated.
Right.
But
Right,
they will
the
be
fund-
part of the budget mod when they're approved.
For
tonight.
approval.
I'm not real clear.
No.
Okay, the budget that's already approved for these donations, that is the source of funds for these, right?
Right.
Okay. So it's reporting, it's a reporting mechanism inside the legislation of which ones have gone through your process with the chief to fruition. Am I correct?
Mr. Embry, is that?
The time,
Yes, Councilor Baker.
they didn't get funded through the process. So we have identified the funds out of that budget to fund them through this committee, through the mod process. So we're taking money out, we're redirecting the funds out of one budget into doing this through a budget mod.
Okay. I'm just, you got to,
Okay?
technically, do we need to
Ms. Ketchum,
do we need a
do
new
you
budget?
I just want to clarify, it's all coming out of the same contributions budget, correct?
Yes,
So this is effectively itemizing within a budget.
yes.
which has no impact on our budget legislation,
Right.
because it does not change the sources, nor does it change the uses in total.
But it still has to be somewhere approved by
Right.
the general counsel.
They will all be in mod form,
Gotcha.
specifically stated out from what, the organization, the amount given, and the funding source.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, Mod 4 is a very significant mod package, $45 million. Within the mod, there are some very large contributors to that large dollar amount. And the largest one being a $30 million financing authorization for the Bonita Clinic. The grants that are being reported this month net approximately $4.2 million, which is primarily the roads with economic stimulus funds, as well as some grants from EPA and DHS. The general fund has just a small impact noted in the report. The vehicle tax fund, as noted, the $356,000 is not a part of the budget mod, which is the residual balance of the car tag apportionments. That 356 is not in here. I just wanted to point it out because as of now, there are no available funds for appropriation. Until carryover comes forward, which I would assume include these dollars, that's our status. You can see the apportionments on page 2 of the memo for the public schools, Sequoia, Head Start, Immersion, the roads, and law enforcement. The housing proceeds fund is increasing by $1.4 million, with the majority of that in carryover. However, $390,000 is insurance payments coming in that are being requested for expenditure. Federal Highway Administration is increasing for the 2010 annual funding agreement on the IR road program for $3 million. And DOI self-governance is requesting a decrease for some carryover adjustments on the HIP program of $170,000. IHS self-governance is where we're going to see some large impacts of this mod package. A $15 million increase on IHS. And let me explain a little bit. There's item 13 is states Muskogee Clinic carryover. That's a name on an accounting unit that needs to be changed. And for clarification, that's not Muskogee Clinic, that's Hastings Facility Improvement. So I wanted to point that out. I also passed out before the meeting a one-page synopsis of what this particular $4 million is being requested to be utilized on, with half of that, or $2 million, in a warehouse construction, a 12,000 square foot facility, a $1.5 million for an ER, urgent care, and family practice renovation. Looks like 8,000 square feet, and $300,000 for OB postpartum renovation, and $200,000 pharmacy renovation. And I appreciate the health department getting back with me quickly on identifying, just providing more information to the justification of these carryover dollars. There is a $6 million increase to the health equipment replacement budget.
Doug, I didn't get a chance to ask, but I'm curious. I know there was great discussion when we took over Hastings about this plan we wasn't supposed to veer from, and I'm curious, was all these in the plan?
Several of these look familiar to me, but
I got my plan at home. I can look at it tonight, but I'm curious now.
that was part of the original.
Yes.
material.
Every one of them was in the plan?
The warehouse was in the plan, the ER urgent care. The only one that I know of that might not have specifically been identified by a line item would have been OB postpartum,
Okay.
without looking at the plan, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, again, these four projects itemize item 13. Let me go back up to item 12. There's a $2.3 million increase taking the health information systems budget. And it's also utilizing carryover. The equipment replacement is increasing up to $10 million. I didn't receive any additional information regarding the equipment, but that budget's going up to 10 million now. And lastly, the Salina Dental construction and equipment is increasing by 450,000 for a total of 3 million for CapEx and building improvements for the dental clinic at Salina.
Yes, Councilor Fisher.
Yeah, did you ever get answers on them though?
Not on item 14, not on the health equipment replacement as far as any.
Somebody talk to it, please.
The equipment replacement, the pharmacy robotics is about 1.5 million. It's to upgrade the phone systems at all the facilities so that they're the same phone system that, what's the one we use here, Cisco or
Yeah.
whatever, is that? Those all need to be upgraded, so it's to upgrade that. And it is for our annual medical equipment replacement fund. Each year, we don't have money in our recurring budget for replacement of medical equipment. We do that through an annual assessment. And then also for hardware and upgrading the RPMS server and the network system for the computer for teleradiology to make sure all that's got the right broadband and with.
Now, are you talking to the health IS increase, 2.5 million, or are you talking to the 10 million
Yeah.
health equipment? Okay.
14 is what you asked for. Yeah.
Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. Continue. And we need to move along.
IHS, environmental health's got a decrease in the budget. For the actual level of funding from the Economic Stimulus Act, the budget's reduced from 10 million down to 3.3 million. It was originally an estimate in the budget. Now they're adjusting it back down to its actual award level. NAHASDA funds got a net decrease, or a decrease of 450,000. You can see the items there that are being affected. The Special Revenue Fund has a slight increase on a JOM conference registration. And then the largest item in the mod package, which is the Capital Projects Fund, authorizing the $30 million. And you'll notice, obviously, these are proceeds from long-term debt, and until the financing is obtained and revenues are available, then this isn't actually authorized for expenditure until those revenues are available. And we are working, as Callie mentioned last week, she's allowed me to assist her in the efforts of.
Okay. Do I hear a motion on approval of the budget mod?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? This is an act by acclamation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Our next item is item 5, which was passed out last week. Councilor Baker.
Yes, folks, hopefully you'll remember, 3 years ago, we came up with the idea that these kids that get into the Naval and Air Force and Army academies are going to get a free ride for a very, very, very expensive education. But to make sure that they're serious about it and stuff, they basically have to come up with somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 to pay their deposits, to get there, to receive this scholarship. And we passed legislation that said that we would pay that, and we ended up paying $3,000 instead of $2,000 a semester for the next 4 years. And so this legislation mirrors what we passed a couple of years ago. I think it was unanimous, and it was our intent that, if these kids are bright enough and work hard enough to get these, that we can make that one-time investment with them to get them there and get them into the academy. And Sequoia High School has been fortunate that we've had a kid every year for the last 3 or 4 years that has gotten into the academy, and we have one that I know of now that is getting ready to make that same test. So I put it in the form of a motion that we fund this, and we fund it through the education scholarship funds.
Second promotion. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just a couple of quick points. First of all, this hasn't been through Education Committee, and I would recommend that it go through Education Committee so that there could be some numbers developed as to how many we were funding before, what's the financial impact, and so forth, because the existing scholarship fund is taxed. We don't know at this point whether we'll be able to make these valedictorian and salutatorian awards that we've been making, which come out of the surplus funds that we have remaining. So until some numbers are developed, we couldn't recommend passing this
Councilor Calhoun.
legislation.
Make the motion, we move it to education.
Second.
And to clarify, that'd be education in March, not today.
Motion made and seconded that we move this to education to give time for administration to come up with some numbers. All those in...
Question?
Yes.
And you don't think we can talk about it in education today?
May I respond?
Yes.
If she asked for the courtesy to come up with an estimate and numbers, and that is going to require more than an hour or two of time.
Mr. Chair, if I might comment. I had a discussion with Education Friday pursuant to some questions regarding not this particular one, but the same source of funds as it pertains to valedictorian and salutatorian funding as well. And that particular funding source will become much more clear as to the obligations necessary to be paid off of it with the spring semester enrollment over the next 2 to 3 week period. So with a 1 month delay, Mr. Baker, I believe you'll have the information necessary to make a determination if that scholarship fund can also accommodate these service tuitions.
Okay. Motion is to table this or move it to the Education Committee for March. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, we passed 4 items. My question is, no motion was made to pass them to full council tonight. Councilor Hodge, what's the will of the committee? Councilor Hodge.
I'd make a motion that we move all items to full council tonight.
And a second? Second. Ms. Fishing Hawk, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so those will be moved to full council.
And mindful that the same motion needs to be made at full council.
Yes, we'll have to amend the agenda there, I'm aware of that. Okay. Are there any announcements?
I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I think that we still have money for legal fees, but I'm unsure how we have to request for those legal fees. I would assume it's executive and finance, because I know other council people have accessed those and are using them. But today, Councilman Garber and I filed a reapportionment lawsuit, and we would like access to those funds as well. What do we need to do?
The 2010 budget for the tribal council, as you recall, had significant adjustments to it. Primarily, the community assistance was stricken, as well as the contract service line item. The contract service line item went from what was providing $10,000 per counselor for legal fees for a total of $170,000. It also included $150,000 of contract services in addition to that. That $150,000 as well as the $170,000 was reduced down to a total of $100,000 for contract services. Now, since I didn't prepare the makeup of what came back, I don't really know what the $100,000 was left in there for. But I believe that some attorney fees are being utilized on that for the defense of this body's 1408 Act.
Point of order.
Yes.
I just wonder if this topic is germane to the agenda. The Attorney General recently cautioned us about it. We haven't amended the agenda to discuss this item. I just wonder if that's appropriate at this time.
We'll just ask that it be put on the next agenda.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Are there any other announcements?
No concern.
Second. Okay. All those in favor of adjourning? Aye. Any opposed?
I just want
Yes.
Mr. Hoskin to know that Locust Road won the conference championship. They beat Benita.
Harley?
Yes, community service will start in 5 minutes.